Hey everyone, it's ENDYMION, and I apologize in advance for how many times I'm going to say the word dragon in this video. Firstly, I want to speak on a certain creator who is targeting me and others for our coverage on Dragon Age the Veilguard, and it has actually resulted in someone I know getting their account banned due to Electronic Arts bending the knee to the mob. Beyond this, I want to also look into how Access Media is creating a sphere of blatant toxic positivity that is proving in real time why the public is less trustworthy of the industry at large by no one's fault but their own. But first, let's talk about this person who's slandering my name and others on social media and YouTube at large. Obviously, we all know what Dragon Age is, the newest game is ass, and I have extensively covered it aplenty on this channel. As an old school BioWare fan that grew up on many of their games, I had my own opinions on the game when I played it, and I shared why nothing about it felt truly like an actual Dragon Age game. Of course, like I've detailed on this channel before, there is the Access Media and their yes men, and then there's content creators like me and others. This now brings me to the person who is trying to target multiple creators who spoke poorly on Dragon Age. Don't harass this person, by the way, even though they would not give me or others the same level of respect. Regardless, we can't stoop down to their level, but it's better that as a community we understand why these sorts of content goblins exist in the first place. The person in question is named Fade or Unifade Walker on YouTube. They're someone who is your typical cheerleader for corporations because they get early access to things by doing so. This Fade individual has made it their personal mission to try to target mine and others' channels for covering Veilguard, I guess in a negative light in their terms. Firstly, Fade is in a very public dispute with another creator named Nure. If you've watched some of my streams on this channel, I had Nure on one of my streams alongside others. She's a feisty woman who I first learned about when an EA playtester leaked to her what happened in Veilguard before it came out. Then the game came out officially, and everything that playtester said, it ended up being true, by the way. Anyway, Fade and Nure are fighting constantly, but Fade is pushing their community to mass report and get Nure banned and erased from the internet because they don't like what Nure says online. At one point, Nure's EA Play account got banned for 7 days. Here's that clip now.
I have Dragon Age Origins and Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is the same account as this one. Okay, manage my account, my ban history. Okay, let's go. And you have the following active bans or suspensions on your account. 7 more days left on your suspension. Account suspension, reason, inappropriate conduct, EA staff, partners, and sponsors. This is 100% Eddie. What the? This is 100% Eddie. This is so funny. Or Kayla Elizabeth. It's Kayla Elizabeth, a partner of EA. It's Eddie.
As you just saw, Nure got banned for the very same thing that Fade and their community has been mass reporting Nure for. This is a blatant violation of what these procedures are meant for in the first place. Had Nure said these things somehow through her EA Play account, it would make more sense to get her banned for a week, yet we're reaching the point where people are getting banned on completely different platforms for things that are not related to each other in any way. As I said before, this Fade individual is someone BioWare would want to platform, as I was told previously by sources, which I have detailed in other videos but I'll repeat it here, which is that BioWare is currently in a cult-like position right now. Everyone, pretty much for the most part, who works there is either a part of the woke agenda or is too afraid to speak up and just goes along with it because they got bills to pay. White male developers are constantly overlooked regardless of skill level for developers that meet certain identity political things. And since I actually played Veilguard and 100%ed the game and did all the things in it, I can confirm that it does feel like a game that was made by a cult. The entire thing is just oozing in identity politics. Most of it is coded and lurking, like how every faction is ran by women and trans people. While every villain is a white person exclusively, it doesn't help that this Fade person has also posted photos publicly, by the way, with none other than Corinne Bush, who, by the way, that's the director of Veilguard, where they both look like they're partying with one another outside somewhere. Again, you don't just randomly party with the director of the game that you're dedicating your entire online persona to protecting out of nowhere, just by coincidence. Fade's entire existence as a content creator begins and ends with their coverage and cheerleading for current-day BioWare. So this brings me now to how this Fade individual has started to send their minions to attack people like myself, who have done nothing but show you what's in the game from a legal copy of the game that I bought myself. Fade said this on Blue Sky, and I was sent all of this via DMs by someone who found it. Have you seen any anti-woke creators talking about the Dragon Age lore and getting it wrong? Link me their videos and I'll get to work. It's time we took our franchise back. Really? Okay then. I'm seeing a lot of lore videos being made by the anti-woke brigade and they're getting the lore wrong. If you're going to hate on the game, at least know the lore I'm about to kick off. Then one of their minions, this Liz person, then says, I found a notorious grifter. I will let you know if I find more because oh boy, I have the ability to sniff this stuff out. And they unironically post the Critical Gamer as the first person that Fade should go after. Let me stop you right there, Liz and Fade. You guys do realize who the Critical Gamer is, right? It's not some nobody that you will bully into submission. The Critical Gamer is the Critical Drinkers gaming channel. The guy is one of the biggest YouTubers in the entertainment and movie space. You really think that you want to go there and attack him of all people? I mean, sure, go ahead and try it if you want to, but I promise you it will not go the way that you want it to. You do not want Drinker to catch wind that you're attacking him. Your little army would be reduced to atoms if you tried it. Although I actually do hope they do go after Drinker, but in his vid about Dragon Age, he doesn't even really touch on the lore. Instead, they're just wanting to attack him because he made a video that got a lot of views that would in turn defer people from buying this slop of a game in the first place. Of course, I eventually get dropped here in one of my videos I did a bit ago too, where I talk about how Veilguard erases the choices of previous games, which I referred to another content creator's video named Kuto in that same video, and how he explains that the events of Veilguard lead to an inevitable erasure of Southern Ferelden, for the most part, due to the blight that is spreading by Gillinan and Elgarnon in Veilguard. That is fact, by the way. The game explicitly states that Ferelden gets ravaged by the blight. I mean, you can go ahead and waste your time and try to debunk it all you want, but again, what Kuto and I said was simply what was being presented in the game itself. By the end of Veilguard, it's pretty clear that everything outside of Tevinter got pretty much cooked by the events of the game, well, Tevinter 2 as well. And this was only done to simply soft reboot the series and ensure that BioWare would not need to adhere to your previous choices. In a lot of ways, it's like what Andromeda was for the Mass Effect trilogy, although far worse. In Andromeda's case, they just left that galaxy behind completely, which freed them from your choices there in every way. But in Veilguard's case, of course, there is no space travel with arcs, so it's harder to not adhere to choices, when said choices are mere kilometers away as opposed to literal hundreds and millions of light years in between said events. But Veilguard is not a true Dragon Age game, I've said this already. The game is not selling very well either way. Fade can sick their people on me all they want. All it will prove is that they are exactly what they claim they are not, which is a hateful group that does not have the mental capacity to properly debate people with facts. And so instead, they resort to mass reporting and what leftists always do when they find something that they want to destroy, which is to use censorship because they can never actually combat your beliefs or arguments in a level-headed manner. Why do you think so many of these leftists mass exodused themselves over to Blue Sky instead of Twitter? It's simple, because they wanted their own echo chambers where they couldn't be combated by people who could very easily dismantle their belief structures. It's a lot easier to think you're right when everyone on the platform thinks and acts like you do. It's also pretty weird that Blue Sky, the moment all these lefties went there, they suddenly got a massive spike in not only showing explicit images of children, but also reports too. I mean, it's pure comedy, dude. The Blue Sky lefties are reporting people so much on the platform to push censorship that it's causing the Blue Sky resources team to have to respond to literal thousands of claims every single day. And this is what I mean. This is how these people operate. Even when they're left to their own devices on their own social media platform with no other ideology there to combat them, they will always resort to eating their own people and turning on themselves. And you can't make this up. I'm sure Fade will think that I'm spewing hate speech here, but come on, I'm not. I'm simply telling you what's happening there, just like I am when I play these games. I don't just tell you that the bad guys are always white people. I show you concrete examples in the game. Like, here, look, I'll show you 3 white people right here, right now in the game. There you go. And unlike the blue sky cult and the weirdos within them, I live in reality and base what I say and do on things that actually exist. Besides, it's not like I'm against gay people or anything either, because like, I found one of the best characters in Dragon Age in general to be Dorian from Inquisition. He shows up in Veilguard too, although they give him a really dumb haircut this time around for some reason. But anyway, he's a great character who, being gay, is actually integral to his plot, and it makes sense within that world. If you don't know, Dorian is a Tevinter mage. In Tevinter, the mage society, pretty much, does forced marriages between families of magical power. And they do this so that their family members can have children with other magical family members of other, clans, I guess, to create more powerful offspring who can then tap into more magic. In Dorian's case, he's gay. He doesn't like women, so his family is disgusted that he would rather live his own life and waste, I guess, his magical potential in their eyes over being forced into a marriage with a woman that he doesn't love just to have children to appease his family's, eugenics magical needs, I guess. And if you ask me, that's an interesting story. Unfortunately, nothing with this level of nuance or complexity exists within Veilguard. The most you get is a self-proclaimed dragon hunter master who doesn't even know what gender or pronouns they are when they've been alive for well over 30 years already. A whole adult not knowing things that they should know right away. It's wild, dude. Of course, there's supporters of this Fade person, like this other YouTuber, or I think they're a YouTuber, I don't know. But anyway, their name is Simply Sweet, or it could be Bunny. I have no idea who this is, to be honest with you guys. Anyway, they said this in response to Nure and her Dragon Age coverage. There is being critical, and then there's this. Reminder, being like this on streams or posting this type of content can and will deny you sponsorships. Working with companies you love, playing games you like, as no TOS allows you to threaten staff. Golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. Okay. Well, this is so backwards. Listen, I am proof, along with many others, that you do not need sponsorships, nor do you need the backing of corporate studios to do well on YouTube. These people are completely masked off with how they operate, and it's honestly sad for me to see. The fact that this bunny VTuber, whoever they are, genuinely thinks what legitimizes you and what makes you a so-called real content creator is solely based on how much free stuff you can get and how much free access you get to games, it tells you everything. These people don't care about credibility, it's all about power and access to them. Just like the access media who attack so many YouTubers, claiming that we can't replace them because we don't have access like they do, yet one of my videos does better than an entire week's worth of content out of somewhere like Kinda Funny, who has plenty of access and sponsorships to literally everything under the sun in the industry. Access to free slop and being given plastic nonsense trinkets from some studio, it doesn't make you any more legitimate or real in terms of your opinions or reach. Look at Asmongold. You think his legitimacy and reach is hampered in any way because BioWare or whoever else doesn't want to send him a code early for their game? Of course not. This old way of thinking is why these sorts of content creators and such are so angry. Because people like Fade or this bunny VTuber person, they know without their constant pandering to the agenda and the acceptance of whatever slop they're being fed, that without the constant help and push of these million-dollar corporations, they are nothing. And I can almost guarantee you, even with this support, people like Fade are still making peanuts in comparisons to people who have zero access anyway. Here, let's just go look up this Fade's YouTube channel to see. Yeah, there you go. Look at this viewership numbers and the size of their channel. Dozens upon dozens of videos with barely any real viewership numbers. They're making next to nothing with this level of engagement. Trust me, I would know. And look, I'm not hating on Fade in this regard. I've been there. We start small. I get it. I'm just saying that you're pandering with all of the things that you're doing, and the level that you're reaching is this. Really? You'd rather tie your whole YouTube career to a dying franchise made by people who hate their audience for like 600 views on average on a video. You can't be serious here. This is just like the access media. They're angry that nobody watches or engages with them on similar levels to people they hate. It's never been about coexistence. They genuinely want you to be erased, censored, because they know they can't compete with you on a leveled playing field. And to quickly circle back to what that bunny VTuber person said, which is golden rule, treat people how you want to be. Yeah, this is not working in their favor either. None of this would be happening had Fade and others openly targeted and attacked content creators like Nure and so on. If we were to treat them how they treat us, then we would be calling for censorship and then calling them names and attacking them 24/7. I didn't even know who this Fade person was until I was sent a DM by someone who gave me screenshots saying, hey, this person and their community doesn't like you, and they kind of just want you erased pretty much. Imagine being so unhinged and mad that your woke game flopped because nobody bought it. I mean, even Stalker 2 has more copies sold in like a fraction of the release window compared to Veilguard on Steam. Again, don't get mad at me, alright? I'm just telling you what's real. Here's the numbers. Go look it up yourself. It's probably even higher now, to be real with you. And go yell at people for not buying your slop simulator, not me. Then Hypnotic got involved with this bunny VTuber. Like, look at this, man. Hypnotic said, you assume people need those doors in the first place. Then Bunny would then reply, to be a creator, yes you do. EA can permanently ban her and then she will have to figure out what content to do then, but it's okay because I'm closing the door on you. No, you don't at all, actually. Look at my channel. Look at my views. Look at my engagement, my analytics, whatever you want. I don't have access to the free codes like these people have, yet I'm completely crushing everything in comparison. I don't even consider myself a content creator at times, by the way. I'm just a guy with an internet connection. I make all of my videos on iMovie on a 2021 MacBook Pro. I use a trackpad to edit all my videos, for God's sakes, even this one. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. I don't even use a proper mouse to do what I do on this channel. I am working on a bare bones, almost skeleton-like setup here, yet I have over 300,000 subscribers as of right now. And look, I'm not saying these things to boast about myself. I'm telling you what I use and how bare bones it is, because I want to prove to you guys that you don't need much to light the internet on fire and make an impact.
So I saw Hypnotic and Smash JT showing their setup. So here's mine. As you can see, it's a MacBook Pro. I think it's an M1. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but that's all I technically have. Like every single video I have has been made on this thing right here. I don't have a PC. I'm sorry. I'm a console peasant. So yeah, but I use iMovie. I don't know what that means in terms of editing, but there you go. Yeah, but this is what I use, an M1. Oh, there's a little bit of stuff on there. Let's get that off there. That doesn't look very professional. A little bit of dust on the, oh no. Okay, there we go. But yeah, this is all I use. I use iMovie. It doesn't take much, but I use this for streaming too, I guess. I really need to upgrade. I have a desk, but right now I'm not at my desk. So, but I have a microphone. I guess that matters. But yeah, there you go. I have this is what I use to make videos. So there you go. Right, my setup, I guess. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye.
I'm sure some of these YouTubers are mad because they got thousands upon thousands of dollars of setups, entire rooms created for a specific vibe, and nobody watches them anyway, like Fade here. And I'm here with my dinky little laptop using my trackpad doing what I'm doing. It's almost as if the way you make things doesn't matter, just that what gets made is objectively good is all. So if you're looking to start YouTube or whatever yourself, trust me when I tell you this, guys. It doesn't matter what you got software or hardware wise, it's all about you, the person, hence the you in YouTube. It's why they don't call it GearTube or something. Why do you think Kinda Funny hates content creators like me as well? Because they got entire teams helping them, high definition cameras, all of that. My camera in my laptop's not even HD. And they got access to every game under the sun before launch, and even then they can't convince people enough to watch them. This disingenuous, almost borderline cult-like behavior of certain YouTube demographics and groups are becoming tiresome to me. Dragon Age Veilguard sucks. It's not a good Dragon Age, and it's by numbers action RPG at best. All I can hope for is that in the future, BioWare loses the rights to Dragon Age, or EA sells the IP to someone who actually cares. And then I pray that the team at Veilguard never touches Dragon Age again in their lives. But the fact this very clearly jealous Fade individual is resorting to sicking their community onto nudes to mass report her just because they don't agree with them is a violation of the terms of service. It would be like if I just decided every week, oh, I'm just gonna send my entire armada of subscribers to mass report some random smaller channel than mine. First off, that's awful to do, and secondly, it's pathetic. That's why I always tell you guys, never harass these people, don't engage with them, don't send them hateful messages even, and never attack them in any way. Let's just all look at what's happening, and then we can understand why it is the way that it is, and then we can just move on so we can do better. Look, I don't want this Fade or that Bunny person to lose their channels. Frankly, if Fade's numbers continue down the path that they're going, they'll probably just fade away, no pun intended, before long, because They're not doing well enough to make this full-time anyway. And if the only way you can get some recognition is by attacking people like Nure, well, tells you everything you need to know. It's this fake toxic positivity that is currently killing a lot of these once great gaming studios. This weird thing where you can't say what's wrong or then you're attacked and removed. And it's how cults operate because they know that they're flawed, they know the logic isn't sound, so instead of changing their ways, they instead just circle back to the same tactic as always, which is censorship. They push you down and attack you, and it's not working anymore. Even IGN had to admit what these yes men and women champion in Veilguard's case anyway is not working. IGN said in their article, Dragon Age the Veilguard faces uphill battle to match Inquisition's launch sales, says analyst. BioWare's latest is off to a good, but not great start. Oh look, this is even written by Rebecca Valentine, the same journalist who wrote the sexism hit piece on Black Myth Wukong. So IGN asked analyst Matt Piscatella, who regularly gets cited when it comes to how well things are selling in the industry. Piscatella told IGN, just looking at the first days of sales and initial engagement levels via Circana's player engagement tracker, it's been a good but not great launch. Dragon Age the Veilguard did not reach the launch week sales levels of either Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Dragon's Dogma 2. And it'll be a bit of an uphill battle to reach Inquisition's lifetime sales, but again, it's very early and a lot of the story is left to be told. November will give us a much better read. Remember that Rebirth undersold based on Square's expectations, but Dragon's Dogma 2 sold within Capcom's. I would compare Dragon Age's usual sales numbers to be somewhere within a well-performing Final Fantasy game usually, and it's clear that Veilguard isn't hitting that. Veilguard sold less than 18% of Dogma 2 and 21% of Rebirth. Need to remind you that in Rebirth's case, it was on PS5 only. And Veilguard was on PS5, Xbox, and PC at launch and still couldn't reach what Rebirth did on one single platform. It's abysmal, especially when recently the executive producer of Assassin's Creed is a franchise via Fandom Pulse. Then most AAA games need to sell at least 10 million copies to break even. Veilguard has barely broken 1 million at best. They're in the reddest of reds in terms of profit margins on this release. Assassin's Creed executive producer Mark Alexis Cody said this in an interview. When you look at who succeeds, at least in the AAA space, what I'm going to say applies to like mostly premium games. More traditional kind of AAA games, you have 10 games in any given year that will sell about 10 million copies. The reason I'm quoting the 10 million kind of mark is from what I've seen and how I've seen costs, our costs, and costs of competitors and everybody. Everything leaks in our industry, so you have privileged information on where the competition is going. But mostly I estimate that 10 million copies, give or take 2 million copies, is mostly what you need to break even. But you have only 10 games that breach that every year. If it takes somewhere near 10 million for games to break even these days, then a lot of these games, especially in a Western sense, are failing. I just can't imagine shilling for a game, which by the way, this Fade YouTuber person who hates me and others also publicly posted themselves outside of EA's headquarters. So when they say they're not a shill for EA, I mean, they literally flew you out from where you live to visit them in person, did they not? And we know based on your profile that you live in Europe, so obviously this was an all paid for trip by BioWare for you to play their game. This is what I'm telling you guys, there is incentives for these sorts of content creators to shill this way, because they will get wined and dined the same way the access media does. That's why I don't listen to these people or take their opinions seriously, because they're compromised in my opinion. It's sort of like when Star Wars Theory said he was offered to go play Outlaws by Ubisoft in a similar all-paid expensive trip thing, but he said that he refused all of it because he wanted to give his honest thoughts on the game instead, and because he didn't want to take the shill offer, they refused him a copy of the game and all the access that came with it, because this is where we're at right now, where these companies are no longer able to make objectively great games anymore, it seems. Instead of making great games, they instead hire based on identity and then use their budget to strong-arm YouTuber people or streamers and whatnot into speaking positively for sales. It can't continue. It's why Fade and others attack people. All of this will do to Fade. I hope they realize this. And again, they can hate me all they want. I don't hate them for attacking me because, let's be real, get in line when it comes to hating me at this point. They're doing this because it's like when Sweet Baby contractors got attacked by people too. They don't want to ruin this good thing that they got going. They want the checks to clear. It's all a business transaction to them. A symbiotic relationship between parasite and host. How can I take anything they say seriously, knowing that BioWare flew you out, let you play their game early? They gave you swag. I mean, for God's sakes, Fade has a video on their channel where they're opening the Dragon Age Collector's Edition, and I would not be surprised if EA sent them that too. Again, I'm just telling you how I see it, guys, and based on experiences I've had with dealing with toxic positivity people like this in the past. I dealt with people who shield like Fade does in the Elden Ring community before as well. They're all like this. Don't attack my sacred cow, or I will cry whatever I need to get my way, and the yes men are mad, obviously. Look at Polygon, who had their article. There was one big snub in the Game Awards nomination, Dragon Age the Veilguard, a game engineered to succeed at the Game Awards, did not. Engineered, you say? And they even have Tosh in the article headline too. Yeah, very subtle there, Polygon. This is what I mean. They're perplexed as to why and how could a game like Veilguard not get nominated more. It was engineered, after all, to hit all the talking points that it needed to. It had diversity, equity, inclusion, women in positions of power, evil white men, no dialogue that pushes the envelope or anything offensive to any one group. Even the elves are no longer slaves into Winter. Hell, they're even diverse now out of nowhere too. Where were the black elves before? Don't ask questions, just consume the slop. So why did it fail? These people, all of them, collectively cannot fathom that their way of doing things is dying. No one wants to play this slop, nobody believes or trusts someone like Fade who got flown out to EA and continues to shill for the company, and now they want to come after me or Nude and others because why? We don't agree with you? EA should be ashamed that they account logged Nude for a week due to Fade's community mass reporting. Again, that's a blatant misuse of the service. If anything, Fade's account should be banned in response for doing that, because this was actually bullying technically based on TOS. But they won't ban Fade because of what this Fade content creator represents for EA and BioWare especially. Fade is the kind of creator they want, somebody who will never say anything negative and will scream and shriek when they're given overpriced bundles for free, so they can open it on stream to show how important they think they really are, but it's clear even with the shilling that the viewership is just not there. There is simply not enough of these people that can support this narrative into a way that can actually change how things are bought or supported. So they'll shriek, call you names, and call for platforms to silence you because their feelings are hurt. Like, imagine trying to silence me over Dragon Age. Like, dude, I played all the games. I'm just telling you what happened. This is like trying to get someone banned for reviewing a movie and telling you what happens with evidence for the movie itself. You can't be serious. Regardless, I wanted to bring this to people's attention because it's important that we stand firm against this sort of thing. Just like how the woke Star Wars fandom tried to cancel YouTubers like 2 months ago, it's happening here again with Dragon Age. BioWare is panicking because their game that was engineered to get awards got snubbed. And they're mad that you're not buying the slop, and please don't buy it. I beat it, I did not enjoy it, you don't need to suffer through it yourself. Just go play anything else instead, trust me. Thank you for watching, subscribe, have a wonderful day, thanks to my supporters. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.